get out of tomorrow, or is it just you've already pretty much seen what you need to see for the spring?
Yeah, tomorrow is going to be straight. I want to say for the fans, but it's not going to be, you know, all that electrifying. We're going to run about 5 plays. We're going to be as extremely basic as you could possibly be. That's all really going to do tomorrow. So, you know, we're going to run some run plays. We'll have some RPOs tagged to it. We'll have some quick game. We'll throw it deep, and then that's about it. We're not going to show any formations other than just your basic regular stuff.
Some of the numbers that you had, especially wide receiver, I mean, do you feel that you were as physical as you wanted to be all throughout the sport?
No, yeah, and that's, you know, but that's part of the sport, you know. As looking back, I don't know if after a couple weeks, if we ever had more than 3 scholarship wide receivers ever going in the same practice. You know, yesterday or today we had 2. You know, Frank was banged up, Brandon Ayuk's banged up. You know, John just practiced for the first time in 11 months. You know, so I mean, it's tough. And same thing on defense, you know, with their D linemen. So it was very hard, you know, to kind of get out everything that we wanted in the spring. But we did get some good stuff done. Mm-hmm.
Give any complete picture, especially when it comes to wide receivers, any complete picture because of the injuries and whatnot?
I wanted to get better at a few things with the relationship of the quarterbacks. And another thing that has hurt that is, you know, you're trying to get 4 guys going. And just, you know, just like, for instance, like you take, hey, you want to get better at the post, okay? Well, the post throw for Ethan Long's different than Dylan, it's different than Jaden, different than Joey, and it's different to Jordan, different to this guy, to that guy. So it's very, very hard for those guys to see that relationship build and to build off of things when you got 4 quarterbacks going, and you know, and then and you got the reason why the other guys are banged up is they've had to take more reps because some of the guys have been hurt, now they're hurt, you know, and so it's been tough in that way. But as far as the procedure stuff, that's really, I started focusing on that and just kind of, you know, relinquished, you know, we're probably not going to get to the end of this deal in spring. I'm going to have to wait till fall to find out about that. So I just really wanted to concentrate on which quarterback is making the right decisions on 3rd and 3, 4th and 4, looking the right way, not getting too concerned with the result of, you know, that might be a down the line guy running that route, and he might be getting beat by our starting corner, but is the quarterback looking the right way? Those are the things I'm more concerned with.
You mentioned him just coming back. Sorry, Chris. You mentioned him just coming back. Can you just
John,
yeah. Can you just comment a little on how he might be able to fit in?
Yes, you know, he's probably the fastest guy on our team, I would think. You know, so, you know, anytime you got a guy like that, you can use him in just valuable ways for the offense. Heck, if he never catches a pass, he brings something to the table, just bursting him through the middle of the field. So, you know, he's gonna really help us if he stays healthy, and because John is really, really quick, super conscientious about his craft. He's a great kid. He's just had some bad breaks, and so hopefully, if he stays healthy, he's definitely going to help us. Definitely.
So you already kind of know how you're going to allocate reps at the beginning of preseason camp for quarterbacks, or what's that like formulating that?
Yeah. You know, we got to sit down as a staff and talk about practice, like how we're going to practice, how we're going to do that. Because like I said, ultimately, after 2 weeks into camp, you want to be able to, okay, this is the guy. And, you know, unfortunately, with all of the injuries and all that stuff, that we couldn't practice nowhere near as long as we wanted to, and so we had very few reps. And there's days where, you know, one quarterback's giving you 8 reps, and, man, it's just so hard. I got a good idea. I mean, I feel pretty good about where the decision is headed. And obviously, we're not going to reveal that and even talk about that until we get into fall camp. But I will say this, I needed to see, it was good that we did this, it was good that we gave all 4 guys a deal, and we feel pretty good about where it's headed.
Do you anticipate that it will go from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1, or could it be?
At some point in time, it's going to have to do that before you go, yes, before, because then you got to really kind of narrow it down to 2 guys and let them battle it out.
So it won't go from 4 to 2, taking most of the reps, or?
It could. It very well could. I mean, but yes, it absolutely could. Yep.
Still
Yeah.
that there were two guys that were, we assumed it was two guys that kind of separated themselves. Is that still the case, or has the gap kind of closed from one to four?
Man, you know what these guys do to me? They get under my skin, because every time like a guy has a bad day, he turns around, he has a good day, and the guy who has a good day turns around and you go, dang it. And so it's almost like they won't let me. Like I'm mad at them right now, but that just shows you how competitive they are. And they're just such a great bunch to have in the classroom, guys. I'm just telling you, man, it is so much fun coaching these guys and getting texts at 10 o'clock at night. Hey, coach, can you teach me about defensive structure tomorrow? Hey, coach, can we do this? Can we? And it's just awesome that they're so hungry. But I thought that we was going to get to a point, because, you know, I just didn't anticipate all the injuries and all that stuff. But I thought we would get to a point where I would walk out of here with two guys in my mind and that was it. But it's kind of not the case right now.
Coach, as a former player, you can kind of tell as a guy, you know, when you have a quarterback battle like this, guys kind of gravitate towards one player.
Right.
Leadership-wise, who do you think has, you know, stepped up in that aspect? And also, actually, I'll just let you answer that one first.
Well, that's a hard one, because I see times where all four of those guys do that. I mean, you got Ethan Long, who, you know, that guy is like a bull in a china shop, man. And he's like Tim Tebow, he's running around, but then you just love his leadership, and the kids just naturally gravitate to that guy. All right. Then you got Joey. You know, he sits back there, and he had a little rough day today, but they all do. But man, he just drops dimes, you know, and throws some throws that you're like, wow, that's pretty amazing. So the receivers, they get excited about that. All right. But, you know, Joey's not going to be making too many people miss out on the perimeter, you know what I'm saying? And then you got Jaden, who goes out there, who kind of does a little bit of both, and then he makes a guy miss after he pulls it yesterday, and you go, whoa, you know, and the kids start gravitating towards that. And then Dylan's got the natural, because he understands, he knows what I want out of every practice situation and where to go, so he's always up front in all the drills and all of that stuff. So, man, that's a hard question, you know. I don't know how to answer that. But I see a little bit of good leadership in all those guys. Sorry, I didn't answer that question. But go ahead. Yeah.
More than on the field, off the field, what has anyone separated themselves as far as coming in early, being the first there, last to leave, doing the extra things and the little things better?
Yes. They have.
Okay, good enough. Would that person have a name?
Come on, man.
It's tough for a freshman to come in and just learn, like, oh, I got to be here at 5, or I got to be here at 5:30. They don't
Yes,
know that right away.
that's exactly right.
So has any of the freshmen showed that
Yes.
that bone and that quality?
Yes, they have.
Rob, I know you talked in the past with players did too about trying to emulate the Rams offensive system. Can you talk about how much, you know, study have you done on that offense? Why do you think you translate well for Arizona?
Yeah, I just kind of like, you know, because I got a relationship with Jared, and I've talked to him, and so kind of like it's you know, a little bit more in depth than just watching some film. Like I kind of know what they're trying to do, and so, you know, the big thing is just because it looks good, those guys doing it, you know, there's a different guy running that route, and we may not have a guy with that skill set. So that's the hard part, because it's all great stuff. And Kansas City, I think they're ahead of the Chiefs. They're doing some great stuff. And then obviously you watch the Patriots, and they are just the masters at doing the normal things great. You know, those really are the three teams that I've been studying. And I kind of like I like the way the Rams, like, they attack people. It may not necessarily be the play itself, but it's the mindset that I've kind of got watching the film and how aggressive they are in certain situations. And then so that's really kind of the most I've gotten out of that. And then you just got to kind of watch from play to play. That's a great play. That looks awesome. I mean, can Frank Darby run that route? Can Brandon Ayuk run that route? Oh, Kyle Williams, he could do this, you know. And then so you got to kind of look and see what fits your guys, you know, for your advantage on offense.
You mentioned Donovan West as someone who's kind of helped himself over
I thought A.J. Carter took a big step, running back. He's lost a little weight, changed his body. And whenever you see a guy do that, you kind of see his competitiveness, his level of commitment, all right? And that impresses you, you know? And so happy with him. Let me see. Cody, all right, done a good job. Just being dependable and reliable. They're on the off, you know, he's like, just our right tackle last year. I'm getting old, man. I can't remember people's names anymore. Thank you, Bailey. Just like it. See, hey, to make my point, right? You know, you kind of forget my man was there, but then he was always really, really, really solid. And so that's what he's doing this spring. Let me see. Now that's pretty much the guys I want to point out. Curtis Hodges, I'm sorry, there was one more. Curtis Hodges, I think, has done a really good job. We've asked him to move, do some tight end stuff. He's embraced that. You know, a lot of guys could say, man, I'm a receiver, I ain't doing that. But he was like, yes, sir, let's go. And he's really going to help us at that position.
Can you say at this point that having spring practice facility has been a success, or will you not really know that until you get the state to the end of the semester and you see how the next few months play out?
No, I already know it's been a success. And the reason being is when we come back, we're going to be on spring break. And then when we come back that Monday, we are all football for a month, for 6 weeks, and then or 5 weeks. And then on top of it, we do half the day just football, and then the other half we can like map out where we're going to go recruiting. It is so hard to like be in the middle of spring practice and like, man, you're just wanting to win, you're wanting to like compete, you're wanting your guys, you're in the middle of that. And then it's just so hard to like get on the internet and find out, map out where you're going to go on Monday when the spring game's over with, you know, because that's usually how it is you're going out right after that. And then you got to map all this out. And usually you're letting somebody else do that. Now we're calling. We're going to know exactly where we're going week by week in the recruiting. I think it's going to be great. So we're not going to waste any time in recruiting.